Minister for State for Niger Delta Affairs, Festus Keyamo, has been deployed to the Ministry of Labour and Employment about 1 month after his assumption of office. A statement from the Director of Information at the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation says that Mr. Keyamo would replace Mr. Tayo Alasoadura as the Minister of State at the Labour Ministry, with Mr. Alasoadura replacing him at the Niger Delta Affairs Ministry. The statement said that Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the swap. The deployment takes effect from today, Tuesday, September the 24th. In the meantime, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has asked the nation's financial sector to partner with the public sector and think of ways to improvements leading to the medium, small and micro enterprises development in order to encourage financial inclusion, which is key to realizing the President's promise to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. Professor Osinbajo further notes that the recent signing of the AfCFTA offers opportunity for Nigerian banking and financial services, but warns against the threat of dumping. He was speaking at the 12th Annual Banking and Finance Conference in Abuja. Our correspondent Gloria Mezuke reports.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, graced the 12th Annual Banking and Finance Conference alongside top professionals in the nation's banking industry.
Let's appreciate it.
The future of banking, which is widely viewed as competitive, comes into focus at this two-day summit.
The days of non-performing loans are behind us, and we call upon the judiciary to assist us in this regard. We shall learn to borrow in the old-fashioned way by paying back when we have access facility from the banks.
More stakeholders believe a failure to seize existing opportunities in the evolving digital era may have negative consequences.
It is important to state the need for the regulatory authorities to step up their game and ensure that all stakeholders, especially the innocent and suspecting banking public, are protected against the activities of internet fraudsters, cybercrime. This is very critical to secure and sustain the confidence and trust of the people in the new series of technologically driven innovations in the sector.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, however, urged the sector to pay more attention to the issue of financial inclusion.
Our financial services sector now has to also redefine itself, challenge itself to partner with the public sector. We must jointly think through how to really lend to MSMEs and the entire real sector.
Improving infrastructure to expand the nation's manufacturing base is another key emphasis here.
This is crucial because we are also the target market for all of Africa. We are already dealing with the threat of smuggling, but we'll now have to contend with the threat of dumping with the AfCFTA. This is why the negotiations going on at the moment are crucial. And I think it's important for the banking sector to pay attention to what is going on.
Thank you.
The banking industry has been charged rather strongly to deliberate and come up with strategic ideas that would enable it to remain more relevant in the years ahead and be a key contributor to the growth of the economy. From Abuja, Gloria Mezuke, Channels Television News.
Starting now for business news on the news at 10 with Kayode Okikiolu.
Well, thank you, Gimba, and you're welcome to Business News. As part of efforts to further deepen the capital market and create a vibrant commodities exchange, the Securities and Exchange Commission is set to hold a roundtable on the commodities trading ecosystem. The Director General of the SEC, Ms. Mary Uduk, says the dialogue aims to obtain the acceptance of policymakers and government agencies and get more participation in the commodities market. The roundtable, which is scheduled to hold on October the 3rd in Lagos, is expected to convene industry experts, policymakers and thought leaders to have discussions on to further develop the commodities market in Nigeria. And French energy major Total is expected to make a final investment decision on a Nigeria liquefied natural gas project by the end of the year and expects first LNG by 2023. According to the company's head of production, Anor Bioyak, the expansion in Nigeria will add 7 million tons per year to an existing 22 million tons per year plant. He further explains that the group aims to grow the share of gas output to 22% of its portfolio by 2025, and this is up from 14% in 2018. South Africa has raised $5 billion in its biggest Eurobond sale, offering returns that compensated investors for increasing fiscal concerns, as the deal was split between a $2 billion 10-year tranche and $3 billion of 30-year notes yielding 4.85% and 5.75% each. Strong demand from investors helped the government raise 25% more than originally planned. The transaction was more than twice oversubscribed, with interest from insurance and pension funds, financial institutions, hedge funds and others from across nearly all continents. The South African government sees the success of the transaction, believed to be the largest ever out of sub-Saharan Africa, as an expression of investor confidence in the country's sound macroeconomic policy framework and prudent fiscal management. More business stories. New data from international law firm Mayer Brown shows that buying a British company now costs 13% less than before the Brexit referendum in June 2016, as a slump in sterling against the euro has fueled a buying binge from buyout groups, including European companies. According to the firm, a lot of EU buyers seem to have decided that the risks of Brexit are now quite well understood, and they don't present a barrier to making acquisitions if the price is right. Well, despite the rise in interest from European buyers, the value of overseas M&A deals from UK companies, of 4 UK companies, was down 15% to £98.9 billion in the first 8 months of the year, and this was mainly driven by a fall in acquisitions by US bidders. Coming back to Nigeria Stock Exchange, the NSE's main index fell deeper at the close of today's trading session after a heavy drop in the share prices of the market's heavyweight as sell pressure sweeps across all 5 sectors of listed equities. Edidiong Iwang now tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The negative sentiment spilled into Tuesday's trading session as the all-share index shaved off 1.08% and the market cap of equities listed declined to 13.314 trillion naira. Now look at this, all the sectors we track ended in the negative territory, with the banking index taking the heaviest hit, down 2.39%. Next is insurance losing 1.44% and oil and gas shedding 0.53%. On the flip side, volume and value of deals traded today were higher compared with Monday's session, as 154.03 million shares worth 2.8 billion naira were exchanged in almost 3,000 transactions. On the list of top trades are Nigerian breweries, Transcorp and FBN Holdings, while ABC Transport is top on the list of 6 gainers by 9.68% and Cadbury led 27 other losers by 9.91%. Well, that's it on the Stock Market Report for the day. I'm Edidiong Iwang.
Thank you, Edidiong. Well, stocks on Wall Street also ended Tuesday's trading session with negative performance amid concerns over impeachment inquiry into U.S. President Donald Trump's alleged abuse of power. Meanwhile, here are some of the closing figures of other major global stock markets for the day. Thank you for watching Business News Tonight. I'm Kayode Okikiolu. The news at 10 continues with Gimba.